Yes.
All right, we are rolling.
Oh, wait, no, we're not. 3, 2.
All right, now we're rolling. Hello, one and all. This is going to be the Johnny Reviews podcast. Thank you for tuning in, listening. Today I have a guest with me today. He is one of my roommates, and I'm going to let him introduce himself.
My name is Andrew.
Yeah, that's Andrew. So the whole purpose of this podcast episode is we're going to be talking about Endgame. We're going to be talking about, yeah, I know. We're going to be talking about the Avengers movie that just came out. And, you know, we just want to get down to it. So really, what did you think about it? What did you think about it? Give it your, if you had to sum up all of your emotions into one sentence.
First of all, I had to get all the emotion out of me because it's been a few days, let's say that, because movies usually don't make me cry. This one made me cry. That's saying a lot. After the movie, I love talking about movies.
Right.
But after this movie, I was just like silent.
Yeah.
And just thinking. I was like, that's how you know the movie like took a lot out of you.
Yeah. Dude,
which is good.
I feel you on that. I mean, the best word that I can describe this whole movie is I was satisfied. I was from beginning to end, I was just blown away, but all in all, happy with the satisfaction I got towards the end of the movie, which was awesome.
It was a satisfying ending to the whole MCU.
Whole premise of the saga.
It really was.
Yes. All right, so I mean, we're just gonna get down into the facts about it. I mean, we're gonna be doing this on a audio and video basis, and we're gonna just get down to the numbers and how bizarre, like how insane, how really insane it got.
You have to appreciate the fact that it made like $1.2 billion globally.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Like, break it down.
Not to mention also had like 90% of the weekend market share domestically.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Okay, so for those people that are tuning in and don't know what these numbers mean and how, like, you can just probably guesstimate by just what social media is putting out there. I mean, domestically is what it's made in the U.S. alone.
Yes.
So U.S. alone, it beat the previous records. And I mean, can you pull that up? Just pull up the last record that it shattered.
The last record?
Yes.
It shattered it by $57 million. From The Force Awakens.
Okay, Star Wars over here too. Okay, and these are all like.
I like how I did it. It was on the page.
That's awesome. So it made $393 million.
I am lying.
Okay.
I was looking at the wrong numbers.
Yes, you were.
Whoops.
That's very bad.
That was the Thursday previews, just the Thursday.
Ooh.
So let's look at the whole weekend.
And I mean,
it made over $100 million for the weekend.
For the weekend alone.
The Force Awakens made no.
Keep in mind, it came out last Thursday.
I'm lying.
Yes, because it sounds
I'm
very.
totally lying.
Yeah, domestically right now.
I gotta keep moving down.
Okay, I'm gonna go off the box office mojo right now.
That's what I'm doing as well.
Okay, well, the first number that it gives me is 393,989,446. That is a shit ton, and it just going off of like.
Oh yeah.
Just going up. Let's see.
Oh, this is also including, I believe, Monday and Tuesday.
So, and I mean, foreign. It has a foreign box office also is 948. Wow, I think it honestly crossed $1 billion worldwide.
The first weekend for sure.
Yeah, the first weekend for sure. So that goes to show you that this movie accomplished a lot, not just in a movie aspect, financially, everything that has to do with this movie, and that's just to go to show you like how much power a movie like this has, and how like it was meant to be. I mean,
especially for our generation,
Gosh,
I guess millennial generation, we grew up with each and every one of these movies.
Yeah,
and this is like the end of it.
Yeah.
And like we're like, what do we do?
Okay, so and even then, we'll talk about that here later on, and I know I have it on there. The second thing we'll kind of just talk about is what are we at? Is the story. You know, okay. we're gonna go ahead and get into that. What did you think about it?
It was a great story.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, overarching. I know Thor Captain America, and Iron Man. I loved all of their stories and how it all came together.
Right.
I mean, there's a few parts that I'm not happy with. Like, I'll bring those up in a little more detail later.
Uh-huh.
But, like, overall, it was a good movie, and you can't, like, deny that.
No, that's true. Okay, so, and, my initial thoughts of the story, I mean, like, it has to do a lot with how each person makes you feel. Like, I mean, the character development and their arc and all this stuff, it just felt right. It felt like you honestly felt for every person.
I was not a huge fan of Fat Thor.
Ooh.
I wasn't.
Okay.
His story was amazing, but Fat Thor, he became more of a joke than a character.
A joke than a character.
Yes.
Are you so you think this is one of the
I'm getting a little ahead of my schedule as well, but like I just have to bring this up. I'm not a fan of Fat Thor. Like, it would have been a great story.
It kind of did.
Why do you have to be jokingly fat, especially like the whole time?
But if anybody had to be fat, like, in there, I would say it was Thor. Like,
you look at him from Infinity War. He's just
he was broken.
Yeah, he's broken. He obviously has this big regret.
How else is he supposed to coddle that?
But he doesn't have to become a joke after that.
I don't think he was necessarily a joke, but
he was playing Fortnite. Okay.
Yeah.
With a rock and some eel dude.
Korg and Meek.
Yes.
Yeah.
I forgot their names.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so now instead of getting really ahead of ourselves, what do you think about the music? Let's just go with that.
I love the music. I haven't been able to listen to every song yet.
Yeah.
But my two favorite right now are The Real Hero. Makes me tear up a little bit, not gonna lie. And then Portals. I know another roommates are like, that's his favorite song.
Yeah.
Is the best? No, it's still The Real Hero.
Hmm.
Remember that. But it's actually a pretty good soundtrack for what the MCU usually brings out.
It's a good twist. A lot. Maybe. What do you think it was? What do you think was the tone of it? Like of this movie? Like,
of this movie?
Of this movie that was probably different or the same as
this
Infinity
tone
War?
was
because
kind of somber, in my opinion, because it's like it's the end. It was kind of just like wrapping up everybody's story. Yeah. It was like
and that was the first scene.
Had all the characters.
The first scene of the whole movie.
Yeah.
That would you see? You see. We
People
haven't
die.
seen. No, we haven't. It was Hawkeye, and we haven't seen him since what, Civil War. Gosh.
Has it been that long,
dude? I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think if it has been. I don't know, but. To continue on a story like that right after him and Ant-Man go and do, but we did get story on Ant-Man because we got another movie off of him.
Okay. We might as well get this out now too. I'm going a little ahead of schedule, but listen, Ant-Man was an underrated character in this movie. You have to admit he was the real hero, and nobody ever talks about him.
Well, this I guess we can try to.
He was the one who really pushed the time travel.
I get it. Yeah.
It was a little odd how he came out. Oh, look, a rat's going to step on the remote here. I was like, okay, well, whatever happened. But listen, he was pushing it. He was like the main drive of the whole time travel. And then people just kind of hopped on and then forgot about Ant-Man.
Yeah.
And Ant-Man's a great character.
Okay, so I guess now we're getting into what we didn't like about this movie. So let's go off of that.
Okay, we'll just start with this. How well we didn't like with the movie. Ant-Man. You already know about Fat Thor, what I think about him. Yeah. Then also, I have to admit, like, Captain Marvel, her movie wasn't the best. It was like a middle movie. But in this movie, I feel like she wasn't even a character, more of a plot point.
Right.
Like, she was just there. It's like,
further the story.
How are we going to destroy Thanos' ship?
Yeah.
Let's have Captain Marvel show up randomly at the end and blow it all up.
Yeah. You're right. I mean, some of the big things that I talked about, especially maybe it had to do with a lot of the character arcs that aren't the specific six, and maybe I think that's why.
Anybody else is kind of just thrown her out, but I feel like she just wasn't a character.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. That's where I was kind of like, I wanted to talk about that. Okay, and it goes with Ant-Man. Ant-Man, he was I think he should have been like kind of
I mean, I know he's probably gonna get another movie.
Yeah, he is.
Like-
He is. But the way that they kind of strayed it, like they made him out to be was he was this funny, like, oh, he's so naive, he doesn't know what he's doing kind of guy.
And he was know exactly what he was doing.
And then like it kind of alludes back to Tony Stark is the one that solves this time travel. It was
Yeah.
way too fast. Like
It was pretty fast.
And like that part right there kind of made me think. I'm like, okay, they're trying to rush a certain part that really doesn't need to. And
I think that was one of the problems. Is the first act was a little slow.
Yeah.
Like, I understand
A lot of
coming
battle,
from
yeah.
Infinity War, there's a lot to digest
Fuck.
for the
Yes.
audience, but they did go a little too slow in some of the parts. I know,
Yeah.
like, it's for dramatic effect and like learning. Oh,
Yeah.
Tony Stark has a family. You know, this is where Captain America. This is where Black Widow's out, trying to like, kind of create Shield again.
yeah.
But still, it's
I
a
mean,
little slow.
5
From
years,
coming
like,
from Infinity
yeah.
War, which is like bang, 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 to this, it's like different.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Even from talking about the 6 main characters and their story arcs, Black Widow's like whole character arc in this whole movie was sad. Like
It was.
and it was not capitalized.
But it
the
wasn't
way
like-
it should have. I think.
That's true. I mean, as soon as like they said Hawkeye and Black Widow were going to
I
Vormir,
knew
Black Widow's
like,
not.
right there.
I didn't even think about Hawkeye because he was like, it wasn't right for Hawkeye
Right,
to die.
right.
I've been trying to kill him for the last 8 movies because I think he was so underutilized.
They teased it so
But
much.
I am also super happy we got to see like a badass Hawkeye.
yeah, like
in
Ronan
Endgame.
going, dude.
That's what Hawkeye is.
Yeah.
He's not this guy who just kind of shows up with a few arrows.
Dude,
He's like-
this fucking killer. Like
Right?
he's ready to go and kill. And
But like,
it was really insane when I saw him like that, and especially
that's what we wanted to see earlier.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we needed to
Yeah.
see for Hawkeye too.
Yeah, and I think they saved it for this purpose because you can't add that with all of the different characters in Infinity War into like Endgame. Like I think that story meant to
that's-
be like kind of like held deeply because they showed his family. They showed
Yes,
how much of the
it's true.
emotional it was.
I mean, they showed his family earlier, but honestly,
yeah, I know.
I cared, but not a ton for his family. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
Okay,
It's
I did a little bit. It's just maybe people that did watch the movie that do have like a family like that, and maybe they'd feel like that. Maybe it's just us not feeling in that aspect.
maybe we don't have a family ourselves. Maybe that's why.
Say this sarcastically. Anyway,
I mean,
but
you gotta speak the truth.
it's true. Okay, so what did you think about the rules of time travel in this one?
So that's what I was gonna bring up
As your
because
biggest,
like
what do you think as your biggest flop or like?
it's
biggest things
probably
that
like
disturb you?
I do want to say like the screenwriters Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, I believe that's correct.
Mhm.
They are so underrated, and like everyone gives credit to the Russo brothers, and they definitely deserve it.
Fuck yeah.
But the screenwriters did so much work
Yeah.
on both Infinity War and Endgame. Like, this is a massive amount of work they had to do
Dude.
to figure out these 2 movies and have a satisfying ending for both.
Mm-hmm.
And like how many characters they had to deal with, how much was at stake for the MCU, and just like finish the whole story. They
Yeah.
did an amazing job. And they are so underrated, and it makes me mad as an aspiring screenwriter to see them like thrown under the bus and forgotten about.
And that's the thing. The rules of the rules that I thought, like how they kind of
What
made
rules?
it seem the rules of time travel.
Let's be honest.
What?
They kind of made the rules like, okay, we have to put these stones back into time where they specifically were.
Yeah.
And by the end, I loved Captain America's story and how he like grew old with Peggy Carter. It was beautiful. But also,
Well, no,
this dude
but I'm-
created an alternate universe just by doing that.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about is like you see the repetitiveness of movies talking about time travel and
Yes.
how it can affect that line of time. If like you go meet yourself later before time, and then it can mess up the future.
I honestly feel like they kind of said that to set it up and then forgot about it.
But
Like,
no, but the way
that's
that they
my-
explained it in this movie was that it creates a different strand of time. So it creates a different timeline.
So that's my question is like, so if Captain America went back into time,
Yeah.
it came back an old man,
Yeah.
how do they still recognize him as Captain America in that same moment?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm like, oh, a little questionable. Like, I understand it.
See, that was why.
But it's just like
it's just the question.
You do have to like kind of throw it out
it
there,
out.
but like it's like
Yeah.
like it makes sense. I would totally do the same thing. I'm like, we have this problem. We want this ending. I'm like, the audience will be fine. They're fine.
Yeah, they're fine with it. I mean, the
Yeah.
outcome that came out of it was great. It was.
But listen, you also have Loki out with the Tesseract.
Yeah.
And that's gonna create some problems, some alternate universe for sure.
Yeah, and that's the thing
It's-
right there where I was just kind of like talking about like that's just one of the things that I thought was weird about that is that's why I would put it as one of my biggest things that I didn't like about this movie or just questionable.
It's
but
I don't know. It's like not likable. It's
Yeah.
questionable.
it's questionable, but that's why
I mean,
put
it's
it
such a
down there.
big movie though, so it's kind of like it's understandable and forgivable at the same time.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say.
So we'll just kind of keep talking. Like, what was your favorite act? Like, if
Act?
as you being this
The
big,
third act.
this big guy into
Definitely the
movies
third
and-
act.
Those of you who don't know, Andrew is a big film guy.
Oh,
He's a big film
definitely.
geek. This is why I wanted him on here. Just wanted to see kind of like what he
I know
thought about
nothing,
them.
but I like it.
I mean, this is all spoilers, dude. We're
Oh, yeah,
going
we're
knee
already
deep
off.
into.
But I do want to
what-
say I do have a little story to share with everybody here.
Go ahead.
I was not the strongest individual during this movie. So I know there's a bunch of like
What do you
pictures
mean,
like
physically.
Yeah, I had to pee. I know it's a 3-hour movie. I had to pee like the first hour. I was really disappointed. Like I'm just bringing that out. I was not the strongest person in that movie theater. And what the really disappointing thing is about this, when I got up to pee, an old man got up at the same exact time.
Right in front of
And
you.
right in front of me, walking the slowest. And it also made me question. I was like, I have the bladder of an old man. That's when I learned it. And then the whole way too, in front of me the whole way. I had to
Yeah.
pass him. I ran back to the theater, but like that was just disappointing to me to learn during Endgame that I had the bladder of an old man. That's what I learned during that movie.
Well, all right then.
That's-
Like that.
It's a little story
sucks.
about me.
That does suck.
Yeah.
But
I was not the strongest.
How was
individual.
the movie going experience? Let's just say that.
Oh,
like
it
if
was
you
great.
if you like the whole
And,
audio, the
And
Dolby.
when I say I cried during this movie, I really
Yeah.
cried. The biggest moment to me, I was just gonna get back to this, or biggest highlight, but
Mhm.
when Happy was talking to his Morgan
Okay.
and about
So I
the
guess we're going into.
cheeseburgers,
I guess we're talking about
I'm
the
on
biggest
to it.
highlights.
And listen, when they're talking about the cheeseburgers, my tears
Oh,
came down
man.
to here.
True,
I wasn't
and-
the worst. I wasn't the worst in that theater.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about here. You know who you are. But it was bad.
All right.
I was like, whew, it got me
So
for sure.
We'll ask Duke. Duke is also here with us. He's
In the
He's in the
background.
back right now. He's helping us do the camera portion of this podcast / YouTube video that we're gonna put up. And we're gonna be talking about the biggest highlights. There's so many things that we can talk about, and we can keep going on and on. We just want to give the audience a little initial review of what we thought, what the biggest.
Can
things
we
that
go back slightly? Because I almost missed something on my
mean, you
notes.
can
I thought it was a
you can
little
add-
important
you can add
for like the questions of the movie.
Right.
To me, it seemed a little far-fetched
Mhm.
that Thanos would happen to be right next to Nebula as her like McJigger went off,
Yeah.
and to show everything. I thought that was a little far-fetched for Thanos to learn.
That's another plot point.
Of
That's I
the,
think
like-
that's just another way to. Kind
Yeah,
of
it was just a little far-fetched for me. I
But
feel
there-
like they could have done it a little better. in
Okay,
that
so if you had to pick,
circumstance.
like a certain
I'm not-
way, exactly.
I am not that good of a screenwriter yet to figure that question out.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that.
Okay.
I just thought it was a
so-
little convenient. It's understandable.
Right.
It's convenient.
Yeah. No, and totally makes sense. Yeah, totally does.
But you also have to think in that timeline that like Nebula and Gamora were his.
I know, but like why
main
was she like?
minions.
That is true.
Like,
I know,
never
but you
left his
also
side.
in Guardians of the Galaxy, Nebula and Gamora were basically Guardians of the Galaxy. My favorite
Oh, the
MCU.
Asgardians
and
of
my
the
favorure
Galaxy.
movie. Hey, listen.
We'll get to that.
We are
Oh,
gonna. We are gonna get.
I
to
know.
that.
I know we are.
It's coming up.
Yeah.
But that's my favorite movie, just number one. But they were also Gamora and Nebula split up from Thanos like the whole movie,
Mm.
and almost Infinity War as well. So it's like
Right.
a little questionable.
Talk more about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm very
I know.
active
I know. I'm
when
just
I
trying.
talk.
I want to make sure that
Yeah.
I can pick it up.
Hello,
We're good. Yeah.
it's me.
Okay, so
Alright.
we'll kind of go around the table, and I'll get Duke's chime on it. We'll talk about, because there's a lot of things that I loved about this movie. Let's
So
go
biggest
ahead.
highlights now, yeah?
Yeah.
Alright.
So we'll go with you. One big highlight that you really thought.
Well, I mean, I'm not gay, but I do love me some of America's ass. That's
Okay.
that's
All right. So that can
that's
kinda
a highlight.
go-
I put it
that-
on my list.
That can go.
and that's
off
the
of-
highlight.
That can go off of was the comedy in
The
this
comedy
movie.
was nice, except Fat
Awesome.
Thor.
Dude,
The comedy was great.
I can see why. As a
I think
story,
they went just too
maybe-
far to make
Maybe for
Thor's
the
character a little
maybe
out there.
well, yeah, but maybe for the people that just started getting into the realm of Marvel movies, it kind of didn't make sense. But as a
I
true
get
fan,
that.
I like it. But to keep him like that in that stage, no, I'm not gonna be like I'm gonna hate that. If it like later on, because we're kind of foreshadowing now. We're seeing
We
the
are.
possibilities of him being in the as Guardians of the Galaxy, so he's going to be a part of the
getting
Guardians
ahead
of the
of
Galaxy.
schedule.
I am, but I'm getting too excited right now just talking.
But
about
he
that.
really, he's gonna have to be in Guardians 3. Like,
He
I'm excited
is.
for this movie. Where's Gamora? Is she gonna be alive? Like,
Gamora was already
'cause-
out there.
I know, but like
She's just the young
the
or
younger version.
the one
like,
or the one that
why
didn't
was she
know.
not killed? Did Tony know? That's also a question I have. Like,
Well, that was a Nebula.
is she gonna be there? Is she not?
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's also not the same Gamora.
Yeah,
That
it's
Gamora-
not
I
the
know,
same
but like, is
Gamora.
she gonna be in the movie? That's what I'm saying.
I
Like,
think she
a
will be.
pivotal. Like, I'm pretty sure she would be, but like
Her
the
and-
same level,
her-
or would it just be Thor and Star Lord duking it out?
Well, that's going to be more comedy
Oh.
throughout that line.
Yes.
So with me, what I really loved about the comedy aspect of it was the Hell Hydra. The for those
That
who have already
was- that
seen
was a
it,
nice
it
little
was-
moment,
was
I'm not gonna
great.
lie.
Like that whole it was mostly Captain America with the comedic relief.
Oh, it really was, though.
It was, and that's new for him. It's always
Right?
it's always Thor.
always been somebody else.
Like I think it's been Thor, Tony Stark, even
Tony just kind of quips.
yeah, he's very
always been a quipper.
he's very yeah. You're right.
In this
he's very
movie, he
right.
wasn't as much a quipper. He was more
Yeah.
like, he was very like emotional and down to
Right,
earth.
but
which
this is
good.
the broken.
If he doesn't
And we'll-
deserve, he
we'll get
deserves
to
some
that.
kind of Oscar nomination for this
We'll
movie.
get
Okay,
to that.
He really does. That was some really good acting by Robert Downey Jr.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
And like so.
Listen to me, Oscar peoples. It's got to
Look at the
happen.
camera right there.
$1.2 billion. Can't deny the money.
So far,
So far, yeah, it's been like a weekend.
dude, we can guesstimate
Okay.
towards the end of this video and see. We'll come back and we'll say like oh my
Easily
gosh,
$2
all
billion.
time. Nah, dude, easily. what?
But like, I don't know if it'll get too
okay, well
much
through
further.
its whole run, we'll talk about that later on.
Okay, yeah.
But a lot of the comedy, like the whole thing with him, he's like he was talking to Captain America was talking to the young Captain America. He's like, I can do this all day. He's like, I know you can.
Yeah, really-
He's just
that was a nice
That
one.
was so
Okay.
funny. The part with Star Lord, whenever they go back in time with the very beginning of the Guardians of the movie.
Oh, yeah,
and,
no,
and he
that's-
kept like there's like so
It just-
you see War Machine and Nebula. He's like so he's a dumbass or I forgot what he said.
No, that was. I think that's
pretty
what he
much.
said. I don't know.
And then you hear him singing along to like. one
And
of
I
my
loved
favorite
that part
soundtracks.
too. It was like,
Dude, it was so good. Like I understand a lot of the of that. The comedic. This goes back to Russo brothers. Like
I think movies always need some kind
No,
of comedy.
You're not wrong.
But like, I know Ragnarok is up high on people's list, but I feel like that movie went a little too high on the comedy at certain moments. Like me, I hate when climaxes have jokes in them.
Right.
Like Guardians of the Galaxy is one of the only ones that I'm okay with because it's part of the climax.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you want to dance off? Heck yeah, let's do it. And that's just part of the whole story, not necessarily a joke intertwined to like cut off the tension.
Tell him about the dance off of the universe or saving the universe. I don't know.
That's-
It's just like a little thing right there. That I remember.
I don't know.
No.
You like my dancing skills?
Oh gosh. No, I don't.
Yes, he does.
So that's just one big thing. Duke, what did you like of one thing that you can kind of...
Well, I mean, you guys haven't even talked about the ending battle yet, which is basically the culmination of all of Marvel. Like, in its whole...
It is, though.
Like, growing up, reading the comics and just seeing an actual comic book on screen was just something that the Russo brothers pulled off successfully. And
Yes.
just
This movie
amazingly.
was out there.
Yeah.
Like, out there.
It was out there. I give a lot of credit to the Russo brothers, but also Marvel. Like, just
Oh, yeah.
how much they have accomplished in the 10-year span of this universe says a lot about what's yet to come, and says a lot about like just the foreshadowing. It gets like people like us. It gets people like us just talking about it.
Like,
talking
this is
about
our
it.
first, like, podcast.
Yeah.
And I just said to you earlier, but the Endgame is actually the beginning of us.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful little moment.
Oh.
I see
Of
you,
this
I think
podcast.
It's just a beautiful
Of the
moment.
podcast.
So.
Of the podcast. All right,
What?
so now let's talk about the. Okay, so yes, you're right, Duke. The one of the biggest things to capture in this whole movie was the end scene where you see everybody. Oh, I'm getting chills right now. I'm everybody. You got everybody. You see everybody that was gone from that snap.
Oh,
you
yeah.
see, you hear
Yes,
Falcon is like, hey Cap, like I'm on, or he's like on your left or something.
I'm
right
just
there.
trying to figure out how they all planned that, though, a little bit. Like, okay, guys. Oh, we're all here at the same place. Hey.
Right.
But
But
I think that Doctor Strange can do that because he's just the master of mystic arts.
yeah.
He knows.
Probably.
I mean, and this is
Probably.
like I'm pretty sure we're gonna get another Doctor Strange movie later.
Oh,
on.
definitely
But,
we are.
Like, we
I am
haven't even
so
seen
excited
him
for-
reach his.
Doctor Strange is also an underrated movie.
Oh God, I know.
Like,
That's
I
my
love
favorite.
Doctor
That's my
Strange.
favorite Marvel movie.
Oh, yeah?
Is Doctor Strange.
It's a good movie.
It's a great movie.
It is.
But you gotta realize he's not even the ancient one. He's not. He hasn't had that power.
not.
No, and that's the thing. Like
But
all of this
also,
power that
I'm
we've
trying to
seen
figure
is
out-
probably like little specks of
We're
what
getting
he's.
a little more ahead. We're just going off
Yeah,
schedule.
I know.
But like,
still, we're just
listen,
talking about the biggest things right now.
who's gonna be the bad guy? Is it gonna be like Mordo?
Okay, we'll talk about
or
that.
is it gonna be
I think
Dormammu?
Of our overall thoughts, but
Like,
okay.
is Dormammu gonna come back?
I don't know. We'll talk. Let's talk.
Who's
more
gonna
about
come
the
back?
highlights, though.
See, but it's also
Is it gonna be
there's
that
an
guy
idea-
who plays basketball and broke his back? He's gonna be the bad villain now of the
Well, it's either gonna
Avengers.
be Baron Mordo, or they can bring in Nightmare, which is one of Doctor Strange's biggest villains besides Dormammu.
Oh, we
Yes.
can talk about later on the possibilities of the Fox merger that is going to bring up
That's
a
it.
new.
I don't think Fox should come in until
not yet,
the next
but we
phase,
can. Well, let's talk.
honestly.
Let's talk about that in the last thing. Let's talk about more of the highlights. What else
Yeah,
did you like
okay.
about this?
The highlights. It was just every single ending, honestly. Like, just to go in a bit more about Iron Man.
Right.
His whole arc through every single movie, and just like he changes the person.
Right.
And that was just so beautiful to see him. Okay, he's like, okay, I get it. I'm done. I've changed. Snap.
Yeah.
He's done. And then go to Iron Man. I mean, Captain America. And he's like, this whole time, he's never gotten over Peggy. This whole time. I'm very curious. I think Kevin Feige should answer this question for everybody.
Mhm.
How much did they know of this movie before they wrote it?
Yeah. Well, you got to
Did
also.
they plan this the whole time?
Yeah, but you got to remember they recorded or mashed both Infinity War and Endgame. Didn't know which outcome was going to be the
Oh,
actual
yeah.
outcome.
That's,
You remember
that's
that?
true.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
very true. But
And
I'm
you-
like very curious. Did they know any of this before? That's
I
what
think
I
so.
really want to know.
I mean, it's the Russo
Like-
brothers, but only one person I think knew the whole outcome, or two people. I think Mark Ruffalo was one, and Benedict Cumberbatch was the other one that knew the whole outcome of this. But
Oh, the movie? No.
I think so.
I don't know where Mark Ruffalo's coming from. It was
Dude.
Robert Downey Jr. and Chris
oh,
Evans.
it was Robert Downey Jr.
Who are you, Mark Ruffalo?
He's one of the
What did
main
what did
ones.
you think about Professor Hulk?
Okay, so for those of y'all that don't know what is going on
Sorry,
here.
I just say things. I don't know who 5 people watching this today that don't have. Well, if you haven't seen Avengers Endgame,
Oh, yeah, go watch it.
don't listen to this at all.
A little late for that.
That's
A little late.
Sorry.
But, yeah.
Whoops.
We didn't spoil it
My
the first
bad.
week, but now, or the first few days, but now, who cares?
Oh. Well, if you
Everybody
haven't-
should have watched
you
it. by
haven't-
now.
If you have not watched it, you've been spoiled already.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
So now the whole story arc of Hulk, it can only be used in the Avengers movies. Like that's why we don't get a actual movie
Because of Universal.
Because of Universal
Yes.
and all the contracts and stuff like that. So you only get Hulk in those 3-4 movies that we've gotten. And so the character arc in those 4 movies, I can understand why they would want to do it, and
Yeah.
I like it. I'm not discluding.
He looked a little weird to me.
Okay, the
Let's
visual,
be honest.
the visual aspect of it, I didn't
Okay.
like. I probably thought they could do a little bit better. I think it's
Yeah.
just like you can tell there's a lot of CGI in there. But
Well, yeah.
but-
No, I thought it was all makeup.
shut the fuck up.
Oh my gosh. Already cussed it on our podcast.
This is my podcast.
Language.
I can cuss all I want. Fuck. Okay. Anyways,
I'm sorry, Mom. I'm not gonna let you watch this.
you can watch it if you want. Okay, so let's talk about one of the biggest things that I liked was the character arc of Tony and his dad. Tony
Oh,
and
yeah.
and
That's also when I knew
daughter,
they were gonna die.
see
When he met his dad, I was like,
yeah.
he's going out.
Yeah.
So
But
is
through-
Captain America.
Through the whole saga, I'm gonna say saga now. Like
It's 10 years of movies.
10
It's
years
like
of
a-
movie.
It's
It-
almost the Infinity Saga.
Yeah.
no,
like-
I'm saying now. I'm gonna say the saga, like through the whole saga of Infinity War. You see Tony's dad, Howard's arc kind
I
of
mean, he
is skewed by through.
Yeah, it
different
changes a little
movies.
bit of acting,
Yes.
but acting.
in every
Yeah.
movie. But I mean, coming to an end right there where he knew, like, he wanted to tell him about his daughter, and like just Howard asking Howard,
I know. I'd be
Asking, like, so what do
if
you
someone
do?
asked me about like,
like
I'd be like, I would also be like, what?
yeah.
Excuse me, sir. Hello.
And that's the thing. Like that was one of the things where I liked. I saw the emotion, especially because we kind of knew and didn't know about the outcome of this movie, and so you knew
something was
you
gonna
knew
happen.
something
You
was
just
gonna
didn't.
happen, and then
I honestly, I know. I did pee. I was broken there, but I didn't watch. I watched the first trailer, and that was it.
Right.
I was so happy I did because I just wanted
that's
to
another
be
thing I
fresh.
really liked was the marketing.
Yeah.
Gold.
I thought they were totally lying about the whole
Fuck
15
yeah.
minutes thing.
Hell yeah.
When I saw those suits, and I'm like, wait, wow, they were telling the truth for the one time in the Earth. They actually were telling the truth.
Yeah.
Like Endgame was in the name. Yeah, it was. That's, like, why keep that a secret? It's why.
Well, the whole like I don't know which one. I can't remember if it was like
Beautiful.
Annihilation or Infinity Gauntlet that had a kind
I
of
mean,
same
but
storyline.
Endgame was definitely
Yes.
a better.
Yes.
Let's not lie.
Yeah. I'm not lying, but I mean I'm just saying.
I know.
The also the character arc with Tony and his daughter, and that one I was like, if they revert time,
She was more fine with him dying than I was.
I don't think she.
Let's be honest. She was like, hey,
She was
okay.
like 5 years
She
old.
was 5.
She doesn't understand.
I know, but listen, like, I was crying more than she was.
Mhm.
The still a cheeseburger thing. Love you 3000. She was fine. I was not. I was like,
Also, she had Happy comforting her. With that.
I know,
Yes,
I
yeah,
know.
Happy was comfort, and that was a good one.
and throwback another to the real hero from the soundtrack. Amazing movie. You want to cry? Listen to it. Just putting that out there. That's all.
Yeah. Let's also talk about the Cap is worthy.
Oh yeah. No.
The biggest, I
That's-
think, one of the two biggest like a standing ovations that was one was Stan Lee. It was just like a lot of
yes.
people were like, "Oh my gosh, Stan Lee!"
I
came
totally
out.
forgot about Stan Lee. I'm
Yes.
sorry, Stan Lee.
And the
That's-
second one was Cap being worthy to pick up Mjolnir.
I mean, he's always been worthy. I think
Yes,
he just didn't want to
but-
pick it up earlier.
That's
Now he
that's
was
his
like,
idea. That's your philosophy. of what
he
you
could have
think.
picked it up. Let's be honest.
He's the only
He's
one that
definitely
would.
been worthy the whole time.
Yeah. Okay.
Even
I was
more
gonna-
worthy than Thor. I'm throwing that out there.
Well,
a little, you know.
I think mine, and I was going through like a lot of reviews and stuff also before this, but
I try to keep it fresh for us.
Yes, but
Maybe I should have.
But one thing that did kind of stick with me was that he wasn't worthy just because he knew, like, that movie where we saw it was before Civil War, and so with whole
I did
story
think
arc,
about that, but also he wasn't afraid to go against the government and kill people before that as
no,
well.
but it's
though.
not that. But it was the thing that was holding him back was not telling Tony that Winter Soldier killed his dad, and that was the. I don't know if it's the one, but I think it feels like it makes sense to me.
I could see it. Not the best.
I don't know. I liked it. It was pretty good.
Remember, but I just want to appreciate this picture where that's not Fat Thor.
But also back to Fat Thor, it's kind of just transforming him into Odin.
Yes.
We
don't. I mean, but I would have liked Thor instead of Odin. I don't want. Odin's dead. I want Thor.
Well, keep in mind we're having Thor due to him wanting to still be Thor. We're gonna have Chris Hemsworth as being Thor, not have it like another one leaving. But that one's gonna be another send off that we can foreshadow.
I feel like are they now gonna bring in more different characters? Because Falcon's gonna be Hawkeye, and then
Falcon's gonna be. Whoops. Falcon's gonna be.
I had
now,
two different senses because I was just reading the other day that like the new Hawkeye on Disney Plus, which I am super excited for, especially the Mandalorian.
Well, we'll talk about that one here. Let's just stay.
But like they are gonna have a Hawkeye show with like Kate Bishop.
Ooh.
Yes.
Well,
so like,
you're gonna know a lot more about that. We can talk about that.
Like
one
that's why I had that in my
thoughts.
mind because I did want to bring that up because that's really exciting to have some kind of Hawkeye thing without Hawkeye.
Yeah.
And then also you can have a different Captain America, or you can have a different Thor with Valkyrie.
Well, it's more the sending of the torch.
Or a different Iron Man.
Right. Well,
like an Iron Heart kind of thing.
That's the thing. Like the cameos, or like we haven't seen Gwyneth Paltrow. Oh, we saw her in Infinity War, but it was like it was there.
I've never been a huge fan of
her in the suit. That was awesome. Like the whole. Like that's just one of the bigger things that I remembered. It was like you saw all the women into like they were all into one big shot, and you see kind of like one. It was awesome. Like I mean, we all brought. Like,
it was a moment for the MCU.
Oh yeah, and I think a lot of this movie was just setting up for future things.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like his ending. I think it was definitely an ending, but it had few snippets of like, okay, this is who the future is. Mm-hmm. And then especially with Spider-Man, he's the main future still.
Oh hell yeah, he really I
is.
think he's gonna be like the next one to kind of form an Avengers team.
But we'll get later to that.
Okay.
I mean, before we start finishing up, do you have anything else to say?
Okay, so one of the biggest highlights, and I think we're kind of misleading a lot of it, was Thanos.
Okay, yes.
I liked Josh Brolin as Thanos throughout this, and I mean
he was great.
I can't remember who the other person was that played Thanos in the first Avengers movie.
He played it for like 30 seconds.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sorry, guy.
Yeah. So and that's the thing. I think with the way that they're
he also changed color like 3 different times.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that.
And the thing that I want to really appreciate is the menacing. It's not the menacing people that we would see in the. Well, I've read comic books, but like just these menacing, like dark, like I'm bad because I'm bad.
And
people.
I love that was his own voice too.
Right, but see, and that's the thing. I love I forgot who Ultron was. What's his name?
James Spader.
Yeah, I loved his the way that
he was an amazing
philosophy,
like Ultron voice.
Yes,
the Ultron character wasn't the best, but
no, and but see the
way he sounded.
The idea of that bad guy, the idea of that person like being this really big philosophy guy that can make you think that maybe they are right, maybe they are.
That was also something that was actually pretty nice about Endgame. You go from Thanos being, okay, I'm going to kill half of everybody.
Right.
And then he realized, okay, I'm going to kill everybody. And it was actually worked pretty well.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, oh, it does not going to work.
Yeah, because
we can start over.
And you're messing with pre-Guardians Thanos, which is that's the blood.
Was it pre-Guardians?
It was pre-Guardians Thanos. It was because that's why you get all those
Yeah.
those clips from Guardians. You see Star Lord dancing and all that stuff. But that one was the bloodthirsty Thanos. That one was the one that was ready to kill. And you saw it in the first time we saw Thanos, and he was covered in blood, had that big sword.
Oh, that was.
And I'm like,
I loved that sword.
Oh, dude, it was awesome. I think that fits him so well in the character.
The production designer also did a great job on this movie.
You're right. You're right on that one. You're very right on that one. And that's the thing that I wanted to really give credit to was Josh Brolin being Thanos.
I'm sad he didn't have enough screen time in Endgame. Personally, in my opinion, I get it.
Yes,
but I was a little sad. I wanted to see him a little bit more.
But also, like, you can argue that Infinity War
was
his
movie.
It was his movie for sure.
It is a 100% a Thanos movie, and
He
this
was
the Avengers movie.
He was the main character.
This is like what would happen if Thanos won, or what would happen if the bad guy won, and then what would happen if we won, and then and like that. That's why I really appreciate. Man, I got chills just thinking about that. Like I appreciate his portrayal of being a bad guy.
Oh yeah.
Like
I'm a little nervous for the MCU of how they're gonna up the level of villainy from now on. So like the Avengers villainy, like small movies I get.
So
like,
any last things that you want, like big?
We're wrapping up.
Well, our highlights.
Our highlights. Not that I can think of now. There's probably way too many highlights.
I can't think of any at the moment.
Okay, so the last one I want to give the big send-offs that we got for the main two, Tony and Cap. Now, they were both. We were all foreshadowing before Endgame and trying to figure out what was going to happen, what was the initial outcome of it, and how we were going to see maybe all six going to die, but know that there was the three that died. And Black Widow totally used, and it was
That's
okay.
True.
And
I mean, I knew in the beginning she was just like not in the correct
up to par
state,
with
she
the
needed
whole credit right
there. Yeah, she was like, okay,
and we don't know because we are getting a Black Widow.
I'm
movie.
also very curious how they're going to do that. Is it going to be a prequel?
I think it's going to be
a different Black Widow.
See, that's something we'll talk about later on.
That's like.
But what I really loved was that the send-offs, the
end when they had the little signatures, that was a really nice touch.
Yes, it was.
In the end when they had those that banging from Iron Man.
Yes. Well, that's the thing. A lot of people. I'm going.
I know a lot of people don't understand. I was like, oh, that's what that is.
People thought.
I remember someone in the movie theater. I was like, what is that? What is that? I was like.
I don't know. People thought
it's that.
People thought that it was it was that, which makes sense. Other people were thinking that it was.
I was still silent.
Yeah,
taking it everything.
I know. And other people thought that it was Silver Surfer making his board, and it just didn't make any sense. But I was kind of thinking, that's too early.
No,
way too early.
No, that's weird.
It's weird, but no one knows anything about Silver Surfer besides the crap that we got from Fox about Silver Surfer.
I like it.
And
that's Iron Man. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Yeah. Okay. The funeral, how beautiful, like everything that has we see what's his name from
the kid from Iron Man 3. Yeah.
Like that one was. I was like, okay, you're getting everybody.
Yeah, they really getting everybody.
Okay. And it made sense. It made perfect sense, and you got that whole CGI little send-off video that Tony made for his daughter, and they're
seeing the first
the heart
reactor.
It shows proof that Tony has a heart.
That was beautiful. That was a nice touch.
Oh gosh, chills. So
watch it was like the one from the movies. They'd even make an extra one.
Probably
that'd be dope.
That's more of a.
That's just me personally as a film person.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
But those
would pay money for it. Those
were great. Those were handled perfectly. Now I don't really remember how Hulk is going to be portrayed.
I have no idea where Hulk's going at this point. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, and so just talking about the original the six that we're talking about. I mean, what's Black Widow send off? We got Tony send off. Get Cap. Now Cap. Beautiful. It was beautifully done. It was the way that he grabbed Mjolnir. Everything about him was...
One question. Just sorry. So, when he came back, was it a different Tony? Different Cap who just sat there for a week? waiting for them
Well,
to
we
like
also knew
realize.
when it would happen.
Oh, yeah.
I know,
He
but
just
like,
showed up.
but it's also a different Cap. Let's not lie.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure he can just
But-
remember. Be like,
or
"Hey,
did he
all right,
come
this
back?"
day, this time, they were there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave.
So
I'm gonna
was
take
he
the
there
bus
the whole time, just waiting?
Not the whole time. Probably saw like 30 minutes.
He's like, I'm just gonna sit here.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's
It's interesting. Like,
it's very, and I think what is gonna, because
Or
you remember, like,
what if we have to watch the movie again and just he'll be walking in the background?
well, we're gonna watch it again regardless,
Yeah.
but
I want to see it.
and we'll talk about this in future video/podcast, but even then, the send off there was perfectly done. Like the
It
last
was
dance
beautiful.
with
Oh,
what's her
yeah.
name?
Peggy Carter.
Peggy Carter. The whole idea of like him and Cap and Tony going back in time and like
You don't look at a girl through the
No,
blinds
but-
if you don't love her.
But I don't know.
What?
Okay, so
That's what he did. I'm not saying I've done it. All right.
anyways,
It's just it's what happened.
But can we also talk about the fact that Tony didn't get a last quip in? His last words were, "I am Iron Man."
oh,
And then
the
Pepper
whole
was
I am
just-
inevitable, and
Yeah,
and like that whole thing was so
And
It
like,
was
just Pepper
choreographed.
just being like,
to the point.
"You're allowed to go.
Yes.
It's fine.
It-
It's gonna be okay."
I think that was the big one that I also put right there was
Yeah.
the send off.
I mean, that's
Pepper
really why
alone.
Doctor Strange didn't tell Iron Man
and
what
then-
was
oh,
happening.
that part
Because
right
he knew
there.
every time.
Like he knew
Like-
Iron Man had to die.
Yeah.
He didn't want
Yes,
to tell him.
and he looked at Doctor Strange right there, and he just did that. He just pointed
Oh,
at
yeah.
the one right
That was
there.
a nice little
And-
moment.
and he knew
That was
like right
beautiful.
there because right before that all that happened, you see Tony like battling it out, and he's like, is this the last the one chance that we have to beating Thanos? Like, I cannot tell you, or it's not going to come true. Like right there, he knew what he had to do. He makes that glove. He grabs
I know,
Thanos.
you know he had to plan this beginning with. It's like, so he made his glove so
Yeah.
it could transfer to him.
Yeah.
You know he had to do that.
But no, but also they made the glove because Hulk also had to do it.
Because
Oh, yeah,
Hulk
for
was the
sure.
one who could take
He
it.
was the one that couldn't take it. Like he's the
Oh, I know,
he's
but
the
like,
only one that
but
could
even
take it.
he
yeah.
had that. He made it, but like I
Right.
feel like he definitely planned
No,
for it
but
to
also
transfer.
The whatever it's called, bleeding edge armor. It
Yeah.
just transforms whatever he wants it
to whatever.
Oh,
so
I know.
it-
Yeah,
that's
Once he
true.
had
And
the stone in
nanotech
his
kind of
hand,
like,
he was like, all right.
right there.
So he planned it.
Yeah.
For like 30 seconds.
Hey,
And
He
you're
planned
right. You're right, Duke, about that whole send off right there. I mean, I think Tom Holland's little sad part right there was a little. I think it didn't work as well as it did with the Infinity one, where he.
I
he
mean
was
that
gone.
was like a kid dying in front of his father though. So
But
it's,
no,
it's obviously a little
no,
sadder.
yeah, and yeah, of course. That's why I think that one made me feel different than the one where Tom Holland was just crying here in this one.
Oh, yeah.
And it didn't click with me like it did Infinity War, and I think that was like a little drawback, but it was okay.
I think
it was okay.
I think because at this point we're kind of all numb and crying.
Yeah, we're all
Instead of Infinity War, you're like, oh,
so.
oh, everybody's dying. You're gone. You're gone. You're gone.
And that's,
Oh, and you're gone.
That was the send off for Tony, Cap, now Thor. You know, we'll see him in future movies
Asgardian.
as Guardians of the Galaxy.
You guys keep saying Asgardian, like
I mean, people. He's an Asgardian.
that's true. I
Yeah.
mean, just
and
Asgardian.
and that whole last scene right there with Star Lord and Thor kind of just trying to figure
Yeah.
out who's in control, who's the alpha there, he's like, I'm the leader. He's like, no, yeah. You're
I
the
mean,
leader.
if Star Lord had the eternal blood in him, sure. And now Thor.
Okay, I think our other roommate, he was kind of clarifying that after the celestial or ego died, the celestial blood in Star Lord.
Yeah, apparently it went
doesn't have
away.
it. Yeah, apparently.
Like,
it's
but I
gone too.
mean,
I don't know that.
yeah, I don't know. Like,
I mean,
I'm curious.
We're getting an Eternals
James Gunn, we're
movie.
looking at you.
Yeah.
What's the answer?
Since we're getting into all this foreshadowing, we're going to get into our overall thoughts of what's going to happen with
So
the,
now we're
the
just like-
Marvel. We're just going to kind of tie
We're
it up in
ending
a
it
bow.
up here.
Or we're going to tie it up
Alright.
in a bow, just talk about future things that we can.
Like, I just want to say, I am super excited to see where the MCU takes this. Like, I cannot wait for Spider-Man Far From Home. Like, what is Mysterio up to? Like,
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Are we going to see Thor? What's going to happen? Who are they going to fight? are they gonna fight? What's his name? Adam Warlock? Is he gonna show up?
Ooh, okay.
Like, I am just super excited to see these two movies.
Okay.
But I'm also very curious. You know, one of my biggest questions I had as I was making up my notes. Why does Nick Fury always hide in bedrooms and barns and just wait for people? You ever notice that? He just waits for people. The creepiest dude, alright?
Careful with
He's
the pen.
laughing because it's so true. This is what Marvel really needs to answer. Where is this one shot of Nick Fury just waiting on his phone in a random ass closet for someone to walk in?
Yeah. I don't know, man.
You know this. Nobody's answered this question. 'Cause I was thinking of Spider-Man Far From Home. He's just waiting for Peter Parker just in his room. I'm like, that's all he does is wait for people to walk in on him.
Yeah.
I just thought of that. Like,
You know, I think
I'm waiting, Marvel.
I'm thinking like they're gonna do a lot of things with not Agents of Shield, but with Nick Fury. I don't know how they're gonna send him off, but even having old Cap.
No, like I think Captain Marvel was really nice seeing him. He wasn't the same Nick Fury.
You said Captain Marvel and who?
In the Captain Marvel movie,
Oh,
he was
okay,
not the
okay.
same Nick Fury.
No, he wasn't. Everybody knew that he wasn't.
Because
Like,
he hasn't been through everything yet.
yeah, like, I mean, let's be honest though. It was a weird way to lose his eye.
We'll talk about that.
From a little kitty cat. All right.
We'll talk about that in future one about that movie.
About the medium movie with no character.
So,
Gonna
you know,
fight in words.
I'm one question I do want to ask you is, how do you think this movie compares to the other MCU films?
I'll have to watch it like 5 different times to really understand my answer to this
A lot
question.
of movie.
It's a ton of movie,
Mhm.
and it's the end.
Yeah.
So you're just kind of.
What was the screen time?
You're kind
Do
of
you remember?
It
numb,
was
like
3
3
hours.
hours,
3 hours?
something like that.
Yeah, 3 hours.
1 minute.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of movie to take in. It's just emotional. So like this, right now, it's still way too much emotion
Yeah.
than a movie to me. Because this is like, you're losing a lot of people, and it's becoming something new.
Yeah.
So like, oh.
Well, you're not wrong. I mean, and that's the thing that Marvel does so good. That's what Marvel is really good at. Is they're good at capturing different realities or different ways of actually looking at a outcome, and that's where you get different movie genres. Like you get a like.
I
You get a
love
Black
having
Panther.
different movie genres
Yeah.
inside the MCU.
Yeah, and
I'm waiting for a horror. I honestly am.
Well, that's what Doctor Strange was supposed to be. That's why they hired
Yeah.
Scott Derrickson to
well,
do it.
it's hard to create just a horror, especially
Or
with
even
Doctor
on
Strange,
Disney
because that's
Plus,
more.
we see a horror.
Yes, but that's why even the Netflix series that's more.
I
like
am an aspiring screenwriter. I have a few going out right now.
Yeah,
Pushing that out there.
yeah. So and even then, that's the one thing where I'm
For all the 5 people out there.
like that's the one thing where I wanted to kind of give credit to Marvel was how good that they can get a Black Panther out, a Doctor Strange out, get Guardians of the Galaxy out. It's not really just a Avengers type of movie anymore. No,
They did a good job.
great job. And if you had to rate it right now, the movie, what would you give it?
9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
I'm gonna say 10 out of 10 because Fat Thor.
Keep in mind we only watch it once. So I mean,
that's also like
like
you always have to watch a movie like multiple times.
not
So
3
it could
times,
be a
maybe
10 out of
4.
10 for me if Fat Thor wasn't as much of a joke as he was.
I was
I
around
also
with it.
blame Ragnarok for that. Because Ragnarok turned Thor into.
I mean, but then you
Yeah.
had Infinity War after Ragnarok, and he was great in Infinity War, and then
Yeah.
he comes back to this.
And that's another thing that they do so good with it is that Thor is this almighty powerful person that is with all these different people, and
God
he's
of
just
Lightning,
God of Thunder.
little sparkles.
And,
I forgot
and-
Jeff Goldblum's name for him, Sparkly or something.
Sparkles.
Sparklers.
I forgot about that one. Yeah, God of what
God
is
of
it?
Sparkles.
Sparkles.
Yeah,
Something like that. But that's what they do so good is that like you can't get that off of a DC movie because they're too overpowered.
Oh, I love that meme, by the way, of DC movies are too dark.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, they're actually physically too dark. I can't see what's happening on screen.
Yeah.
And that was just a meme. And I was like, yes.
And that's the thing. Even a high, like, powerful character like Captain Marvel, in the way that Captain Marvel just came out towards the end, knowing that there was this big battle scene about to happen, and you get this big climactic, like, cinematography, like big climactic battle scene where you see a big side of good and then a big side of bad, and then you understand that no, they are there for different reasons than why we're here, and you get this whole premise. You get this whole premise of like all of these people that we've known and loved. Even Howard the Duck was in there, and I saw that in later on. Yes,
Endgame.
And then
wait, where was this guy?
Them and the Ravagers. They were in there.
In the little portal, dude?
Yeah.
I did not see that guy.
I need to rewatch it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I saw that in a
very
on a video.
Curious now.
Yeah.
Do you have a gun? Or like
I don't know.
A squirt gun?
It was really quick.
Little duck with a squirt gun.
You get all these people that we're going to know and love later on, even though that this movie was not the idea for all of those characters. Those characters are still in this whole story, or they're still in this whole idea of what is yet to come. But you know that they're alive and well, and that there's going to be continuations of those storylines. That's why we didn't get a lot of those characters. But having them at the very end and having them there made so much sense. Made so much like for comic book readers, moviegoers, fans of Disney, Marvel. It doesn't matter. Like you go to this movie, you will feel for these characters, and that.
If you don't feel, do you have emotions?
I don't know.
Like.
We can talk about that in different.
Were you born under a rock?
Shit.
It's like people who don't watch Game of Thrones.
But see, and that's also the thing is that you need to know, like when you go to a movie, it's supposed to make you feel. It's not.
Yes.
It's not supposed to be like this dark. And maybe
at least feel some kind of emotion.
It doesn't even have to be
a comedy
good
or
bad.
horror.
If it doesn't even make you feel love or like angry, or you're just like, what the hell? It makes you feel something.
I think DC has the perfect emotion down. Confused. They made this movie.
Yeah, we'll review those later on. But so now, kind of just ending it off right here. And
wait, okay, I don't know. Did you answer? What would you rate this movie?
9.5.
Okay, 9.5.
That this movie at 9.2.
9.2.
Okay.
For like the 1.2 billion, I see how it is. I see you.
Go back to the podcast.
Yeah. So the reason I gave it a 9.5 was just the idea of time travel in Ant-Man. I think that's the only reason.
It was questionable.
It was questionable, but I liked it. I'm not gonna give it.
I liked the movie.
Yeah, and it flowed.
It made me cry.
Yeah.
So I'm still gonna bring that up.
So now the last thing.
I have a little chin strap.
The last thing is what's next for the MCU. What do you think?
That's why I'm just so excited for Spider-Man and Guardians 3. I'm genuinely interested to see how it affects each one of these characters. To see that,
yeah,
you can't go back from dying in the Soul Stone and then like, oh, we're gonna forget that happened. So I'm like really interested. I think that's why Spider-Man is a really good jumping off point, because it's a much more personal story than like Black Panther.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, each movie's gonna make you feel different. And I'll say that. And Guardians make you supposed to be fun, fun filled, for let's just say a teenager or anybody.
But that was also the first MCU movie that made me tear up, was when Groot was dying.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
a little tearing up.
You said "We Are Groot." And
that was a beautiful moment.
And
it was a tree.
A lot has to do with the.
It was a tree that made me cry.
The tree made you cry?
Yeah.
Well, it didn't make me cry, but it was beautiful.
It was a really nice moment.
Yeah.
It was. There was a tree ball. A ball of tree, too. Not even a tree, a ball of tree.
Yeah. Now I'm trying to think, yeah.
I will say this, for the future of MCU, I think it's going to go in one of two ways. Either Galactus or Kang the Conqueror. Since they already have time travel.
I don't think they could do Kang the Conqueror at this point, because he's similar to Thanos. But maybe Galactus.
Like, those are the only two that can actually beat.
But I think they should also have someone who's different from either of them.
And that's the thing. I think they're gonna bring it back to Earth, and that has to do with a lot of the mutants. I think with the whole idea of where
next thing you know, Jean Grey's gonna be the bad guy of the movie again.
Well, yeah.
for the third time.
Third base again.
So, but that's the thing. I don't think they're gonna. They're gonna lead on to that. But I think that's gonna be like 10 years away.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
they're gonna bring up X-Men.
I think they're going to bring a big moment in to make the mutants,
Right.
rather than just introduce them slowly.
Right.
Like, oh, they were here the whole time.
Yeah, and so
Nah.
and I think I don't know the because what's next? The Eternals. We got our Guardians 3. So there's
Yeah.
going to be different realms, kind of like little nitbits, but there's no saga yet until I think
That we know of.
That we know.
You know
of.
they have a plan. We
Yeah.
don't know what it is
'Cause
yet,
we don't
but
know- we don't-
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. There's so much in the cosmic realm with Guardians that we have not seen. So maybe they're gonna tie it up in a knot with Guardians and have.
And that's why I think Adam Warlock is going to be a bigger
Bigger.
piece of the puzzle too.
Yeah. So maybe even then, like it might still be cosmic because they're bringing in Eternals. They're gonna
Yes.
bring in all of that stuff before we go back to Earth.
I think.
realm.
I mean, the next movie is going to be Spider-Man. That's going to be on Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they'll move to the more cosmic realm.
Right. And you know that goes with the Disney Plus service because we're getting all of these different realities now. We're getting Loki and how his send off was here because we all thought he was dead, but he's really alive in another time, and so we're gonna see that time play out, and we don't know how it's gonna be portrayed or how it's gonna work.
Oh yeah, no.
But we know that he's alive now, and we know
With the Tesseract.
the new Cap is going to be Falcon. Like that one's going to be cool.
I'm very excited to see that.
Very
actually.
excited. Anthony Mackie, I think, great Falcon. He
Definitely.
he portrays him really well. And I think with Winter Soldier, I think having
Oh, and when he said "on your left," that was a great
gosh,
moment.
I know. It's a great moment. You see a broken Cap there with a broken shield with Mjolnir, and you see like this whole
That's a joke I'm okay with.
what?
Like on your left joke, it's a very nice. It was a joke, and now it's like an emotional moment.
Yeah. But like that right there, that little scene, like you could see that off of a comic book page where you just see a broken Cap right there with a Mjolnir, and everything he sees is just nothing but the Chitauri. You see Thanos right there in front of him. He's just like, you see everything crumbling down in front of him, and he's like, I'm willing to fight, and that's the reason why I think Cap was so loved.
That's why he's the best Avenger.
Yeah. And
I'm sorry, Iron Man. I love you.
Well, that's controversial. I can't wait because there's like a lot of different segments that I want to bring up to you about later on. But there's that right there is just something that you would see in a comic book movie, and it just gives everybody chills because you see that and you grow up with that, and then you know something is gonna happen, and you see the ending, you see everybody coming back, and you see the whole Avengers, and then waiting and teasing it for about 3 movies assemble, and you have like this whole climactic portrait of
It was a
good
portrait.
versus bad, and it was summed up very well, and that right there I think was a great and satisfying feeling for a moviegoer like me, a comic book reader like me, for anybody that loves Disney, anybody that loves
I feel like movies in general, you have to
Yes.
appreciate what the MCU has done.
Yeah, and it's just a formula that people are trying to really capture, but really try to not capitalize, but try to transition to their own. Maybe like that's what maybe the DCU can't do. They have to do something different, or maybe they have to like set the stones for them and kind of create a pathway for them. And like this whole saga and how Marvel has done it is the right pathway.
Oh yeah,
and it doesn't even have to be with superheroes. Like it can be like, I don't know. I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this for not watching Game of Thrones, but I don't even know how that is doing so well. But if that like,
I think that's the end of our podcast.
but yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more later. But
and real quick.
the idea that this universe has done a formulated outcome and it works just by either the financial aspect you can look at that says this works,
Yes.
or just the amount of like people that love Disney, people that love Marvel, all can just say, you know what, you did a hell of a job, Tony. Go fucking rest. Cap, go be with your loved one. You know, all of that says something about what they did right. And it has to all go back to who?
I mean, Iron Man.
Yeah.
That's,
And we'll thank him for that.
we will. We'll thank you,
We'll
Robert
watch the
Downey Jr.
fucking movie again, and yeah, I don't
Like,
know.
Thank you, Kevin Feige.
Kevin Feige.
Thank you, Jon
Russo.
Favreau.
Jon Favreau is gold. Even
Oh, yeah.
him as an actor. Like,
Yeah.
we even saw.
I mean,
Joe Russo in the movie.
Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3 weren't the best movies, but
Yeah, but he didn't do those. Well, he did Iron Man 2, not Iron Man 3.
yeah,
Yeah.
Shane Black did Iron Man 3.
Shit.
No,
Yeah.
I mean acting wise.
Oh, okay.
Like, cause he died.
Oh yeah, he was happy.
Yeah.
Oh, but I mean, we'll end it off right there. I mean, that's our initial thoughts on this movie. That's what we
A
thought.
lot of thoughts. I don't know
Yeah.
how long it took.